Lions roaring in the morning sun, searching for a longer day. People feeling like the light has just come.
Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. I'm so glad to have you here, and today I have special guests, and one of our guests is somebody that is actually so rare to find, but I'm so happy and proud and grateful to have him on board. And I will let him introduce himself, then we can carry on with our topic of the day.
Thank you very much. My name is Ben Rogers Muredi. I'm a drug and addiction counselor, and I work in Mary with a program called the Dawn Recovery and Empowerment Center. Thank you.
Thank you to have you, Ben.
Hi everyone, my name is Irene Kitheka. I'm a HR practitioner and a counseling psychologist. Thank you.
I'm glad to have you too. I know the topic that we are going to tackle today, even our guests are going to be so happy about it. And like for me, I'm looking forward to learning from us, and I know even them, they are looking so forward to learning from us. So let us carry on with our topic of the day, which is drug addiction and substance use disorder. Maybe it is something that you might have heard about, or maybe you're living with somebody who has this problem. I know from the discussions that you're going to hold today, you'll have something that you're going to take home to them. So pay attention. And with that, I want to find out from my two guests, what does substance use disorder mean to you? Maybe I can start with Irene, because I know when I move to Ben, it's going to be all flows.
All right, thank you. I think the element of drug or substance abuse is the element where you are consuming a particular drug or a particular substance way beyond what it's supposed to be used. When I look at just a simple drug, let's call it a drug. For example, the typical, maybe a headache. You have a headache, and when you have a headache, the natural thing you do is you take one tablet. So when you take just that one tablet, you're okay and your headache goes down. But when you get to a point that every time you have a headache, you take that tablet. Every time you have a headache, your whole body system kind of gets used to the fact that I will always be pumped with this particular drug for me to cool off. So what will happen is that eventually, even when you don't have a headache, you kind of feel you want to take this, you know? You feel it's my kind of cool off thing.
Yeah.
So for me, the element of drug or substance, when I talk about substance, it could be something that you're taking. A lot of us are okay when we say a little wine for the stomach, which is fine because we know when you need something to sort yourself. But when you get,
with tea in the morning,
you know, or I can't do
exactly.
So when you have this desire to always want to consume a substance for the sake of consuming it because your body is craving for it, that's when we talk about being a sub. There's nothing wrong with taking a cup of coffee in the morning, but when you get to a point where I'm taking coffee in the morning at 8 o'clock, at 9 o'clock, at 10 o'clock, where if I don't, you know that people even have a kakatiba in their bag, and you're like, if I don't take tea in the morning, I am done, you know. So you go to a restaurant, or you just, or maybe you're even traveling, you even want to ask for for hot water. You couldn't do that kachai, to down that. So that is where we talk about substance abuse. You're basically not using that for its intended use. So maybe now you can pick it up from there.
Yeah, I think as my partner is saying, basically it is using the drug for the wrong reason and in amounts more than usual, in excessively. And what then happens is that they affect the biochemical substances in the brain. They kind of mimic them. Now you find you're getting hooked up into this thing. That is why she's mentioning that you've been taking one, now it becomes two, it becomes three. That is how even alcohol, that is the trend for alcohol. You're saying one for the road, but then as you're taking one for the road, there's that high you experience the first time. So the second time you want still to experience the same high, so you take another drink and another drink. So eventually it becomes compulsive. That is when now we say you turning to become an addict, because now it becomes so obsessive. Like I wake up, I must. Like I wake up, I must do this, I must do this. Yes.
So that means it's something that it's a habit that you form.
Yeah.
Like you start it slowly,
Yeah.
and then with time you get used to it.
Yeah.
And you get to a point maybe where you cannot stop without having it. Whether it
Exactly.
is coffee, whether it
Yeah.
is tea, whether it is that alcohol,
Yeah.
whether it is that painkiller you're talking about.
Yes.
And by the way, you could be having a headache, and instead of taking enough water because maybe you are dehydrated,
Yes,
you
yes.
find yourself
Yeah.
going for that Panadol
Yes,
or
that's
for that
true.
paracetamol.
Exactly.
Yes.
So what we need to maybe explain to our viewers, and I want Ben maybe to do that for us,
Yeah.
is how does it feel when somebody now gets used to this kind of habit? We are told it takes time to build a habit.
Yeah.
And can it take also time to unlearn this kind of habit?
Let's begin maybe by the learning a bit of it.
Yes.
You realize no one starts using these drugs, alcohol, name them, to become an addict, to become obsessive and
You just
compulsive.
enjoy it.
You just enjoy it. It's
Yeah.
curiosity, it's the peer pressure, it's the social gathering at home, and everyone is like taking wine. And then when you begin, some people will start by experimenting.
Yeah.
Some are able to control it at a later date, but some are not able. So they step into the regular use. So you become a regular user, Eventually now you get to the stage of high risk. Addiction is one thing that is said, it's funny because when you can get out, you don't want to get out. But when you want to get out, you certainly are unable to get out. So it is a gradual process. It's a process that goes on, it builds to high risk, then to complete your addiction where you become now dependent. Like you've met people saying, without taking tea, I am having a headache.
Yes.
Already now, now you're hooked. You're hooked into the kind of drugs or substance you are abusing. Yes.
Yeah. So maybe I need to hear from Irene. How does this affect the person now that is, taking that either alcohol, whether that it's that coffee? How does it affect even the product? Now that you're an HR, how does it affect the productivity of this person?
Okay.
Who is abusing that specific substance?
That's a very good question, and it's actually very relevant even today in the workplace. Because what happens, like he says, it just, it starts off as a high. You can enjoy yourself. You have a drink here and there. The way you say you leave the office and I'll just take one for the road.
Yes.
And what happens is that as you keep on taking one and one and one, the next thing is that you'll have a problem most likely waking up the next day, which is probably a normal working day.
Yeah.
So when you're not able to and wake up in good time, let's just say not able to wake up in good time, then you break the basic employment regulation of reporting to work on time. Just that, there's that bit where just reporting to work on time, you're not able to. So then you decide, okay, fine, maybe my situation can allow me to report to work on time, but when I report to work on time, then I'm basically a zombie. Because I'm nursing a hangover, I'm not able to. And then you decide, okay, fine, even if I'm working, I'm a zombie, I'm probably, the chemical reactions we're talking about have basically blown up where you become irritable. You become an employee, first of all, who can't handle other people around you. So at the end of the day, you're not getting your job done. You're irritating everybody else. And the thing about it is, a lot of people don't realize that this becomes a problem. It's actually now a problem because it started like a drink with my homies, going from
Just
work.
enjoying it.
Exactly. But then you even have people who are really interesting where when you open the drawers, you'll find like a drink there. And you see, I don't know which, unless you work in a pub, I don't know which employer allows you to have a drink. But you have someone who will probably think they have a mug in the office, but that mug is kind of laced with something, but somebody is just looking happy in the office. But then again, it reduces your productivity. It alters your thinking capacity. It totally alters your normalcy in getting the job done. So naturally, if you're being appraised, you're getting a low score, you can't even remember what your KPIs are. You don't know why you're even working at the end of the day. So you become an irritant. So for many of us, HR practitioners, you get to a point where now you start dealing with it as a problem. Because like he says, when you had the opportunity to stop, you didn't stop.
Yeah.
But now when you really want to stop, you cannot stop. So as an employee now, for us in the field, you're thinking, okay, now you knew you could get this done, but now you've gone so far. So again, we gauge, are you in a state where you could get out, or are you in a stage where you are helpless in getting out? So that's where we come in as HR and we try and regulate, moderate, figure out a work plan for you. If it's not, of course, this is where now our counseling skills come in. So you're trying to counsel the person. And then again, there are people who like, you know what, because of what I'm going through, I'd rather refer somebody to someone like my colleague here. Yeah. So it's easier because again, you're not able to handle some things like who's in the office. And then of course it's the element of confidentiality.
And I'm like, no, before you even refer this person
yes.
a counseling psychologist,
yes.
for example, like Ben, I think you also need the consent of this person. But we have these people who are still in denial.
Yes.
Yes. You know?
Yes.
How then do you refer such a case to maybe as a counseling psychologist of somebody who has not even accepted that maybe they are abusing any kind of drug?
I think that's one of the challenges we have.
Yeah.
That's one of the biggest challenges, and I can assure you, I'm sure that's what you go through in the rehab centers, because change has to come from within.
Yes.
So if you don't, first of all, admit you have a problem, then even if I sing to you to kingdom come and sit you down and push forward whatever agendas I may have, that element of me as the employee wanting to change, wanting to accept that I have a substance abuse issue, then it's really not helping. So one of the key things, and I know we've talked about this in a lot of in our conversations, is be aware of yourself. So as a person, you must be aware that I need to change. I have a problem. Then it's easier then for me to basically refer the person to them.
Yeah. May I mention something? Basically, help is not forced.
Yeah.
So you are not able to force help to someone.
Yes.
And having been an addict for over 17 years, that denial is always there. That denial, you don't want to accept you have a problem. And even the mental health issues that we have, mostly it's because of that lack of acceptance. This is how it is. This is how life has turned. This is where I am. What do I need to do from here? And you will realize that mostly even the people who drink, and my colleague will attest to that is the presenting problem. There is always an underlying problem.
Yes.
I never drank because I loved beer. I never took that first drink because I was so much into alcohol. I was broken inside. Growing up, no parents, being thrown from one home to another. I felt like I'm a mistake in the world. So it was me against the world. So when I'm hitting high school, I just want to just be there. That developmental stage of identity and confusion.
Yes.
So there I was, and I leaned on the confusion part of it. Because I didn't have anyone to direct me. Yeah. So when I went with these peers, these boys, when I took the first drink, I felt that relaxation. And I was like, wow, I think I found it, and that's how you continue doing it. But then you don't want to accept it because there is the projection. You want to blame so and so. I want to blame my mother who left me at 3 months. I want to blame my aunt who kicked me out. I want to blame everyone. So until that person accepts, and it took me a long time, taken to rehab choice, taken to prophets and diviners and everywhere. I've been everywhere. And it took a long time for me to hit the rock bottom. And I was like, okay, sleeping in that toilet and ended up sleeping in the toilet for like over 3 months. So sleeping that pit latrine with all the smell and stuff, I was like, no, I think I need help.
For 3 months in a pit latrine?
Yes, I was like, I need help. And somehow God sent help, and my friends located me. And that had become my home, and it's okay. So what do you do? So basically, most of these even workers, they have those underlying issues. Maybe they have problems at home. Maybe if it is the kind of medicine we are saying like addicts. There was a time this person was having headaches. What was causing those headaches?
True.
But now they have gone in excess. Now it becomes a problem.
Yes. Yeah, that's true.
I also wanted to find out what are some of the triggers that people have to,
Yeah.
you talked about going to rehab
Yeah.
twice,
Yeah.
being in that pit latrine.
Yeah.
What actually made you, after going to rehab and coming back, what made you relapse? And what still to go back to,
One of the things that I've come to realize or the fact of the matter is that addiction is a chronic brain disease. You will start small, but then when it captures the brain, then the cerebral cortex, that part of the brain that deals with thinking, decision making, perception, is messed with, and the limbic system is messed with. Where you wake up, you have that heart, you want a drink. Trust me, I cannot stay in a club for a long time. Because that craving is still down there. It's somewhere deep rooted down there. I can assure you that. So one of the things that will take you back there is the stigma. I remember coming from the rehab, and then I meet this old mama from our church, and she's like, when Rogers was in rehab, you see the way he has become big. It is because of those mad people medicine. Already they have rejected me. The rejection in the community.
Yes.
The way they are looking at you, because we are looking at the addict as a criminal, as a person with a flaw of character, which is not the case. This person just made a wrong choice.
Even look at addicts as sick people. They call them mad people.
Yeah, that's true.
And that's not a psychotic case. This is just a disorder brought about by the drugs they are using. So these people are looking at me as a madman back in the village. Still the rejection is there. And you find that now what comes in is the self-stigma. And you realize that a relapse doesn't just happen. You've been in the rehab for 3 months, and now the brain has cleared. You're thinking in a clear perspective. And then I'm looking at my classmates, waliendelea, they are looking good, they have money, they have families, and then I am told, those people will remind you of the mess you made.
Yes.
Yes.
And then maybe the time when you're taking that kind of drug that
you were not.
You were also funny, and they're like, I think I liked him when he was
exactly.
So now it comes
you
to you, and you think, I think I need that drug.
I need that.
So that they can love me, they can accommodate.
I need something
that
I can cope with.
Yes.
You're reminded, and these cousins come, they're younger than you, and there's that aunt who always talks. See the way they have developed, they have cars, they have these, and you're there. Others is just drinking. And now emotionally you're ordered. So relapse begins. Relapse begins in the emotion sphere. Then you start thinking, how do I cope? It becomes mental. So by the time that person is taking the drink, the process is complete. That's how I relapse. Because no one there is, and then the lack of support system.
I was even about to come to that. I wanted to find out.
Yes.
Now that we've talked about, this kind of stigma where people actually, even when you want the best for yourself, because you don't even like yourself in that mess, but when you come out, people are like, you remember that time when you were in this and this place and what he did and the mess that he did and stuff like that. So how would you advise our viewers or the people that are living with people that have that addiction or that substance disorder, how would you advise them to treat the people that have that issue?
I think before he responds to it, I think for me one of the things that is very critical is you need to understand that this is a process. And relapse is I would almost say it's gonna happen. It will happen. And for it to happen, it doesn't mean that there's something that is obviously wrong. And like you said, the people around you, your support system, they need to be able to understand that you are also trying to get yourself out of this thing.
Because it is a process. But some of the people, they think it's like the way you're given a pill.
No, it's
you go to the hospital, you're sick, you're given a pill and you get well.
No.
They fail to understand it is a process.
It's a process.
And you need a lot of support. You relapse, you come back, but you still need a lot of support.
I'll tell you one thing. One of the things that people also forget is that just because I'm the substance abuser, it doesn't affect me alone.
No.
It affects my family.
It's a ripple
So
effect.
even as you're talking about support, my family needs to walk with me.
Yeah.
So if I'm going for counseling, my family needs to go with
Yeah,
me,
yeah.
so that my family can be able to know when they relapse, this is what you do. Don't condemn them. Don't shoot them, man. Don't kick them out.
Yeah.
Be there to love them, because this is something that whether they did it
And
in
stop
knowing
reminding
or
them
not,
of what they did. Because that is why they go back to it.
Exactly.
If you keep reminding them of the things that they did when they were
Yes.
abusing the substance,
Yes.
then it means they will still go back to that.
And I like what he said.
Yeah.
It becomes
You said
a
something
trigger.
very interesting, that it's always going to be there.
Yeah.
And that's
The
why
craving has got to be
and,
there.
and that's why you when you're going for counseling, you're
Yes.
also very careful to be told, if you have this path that you walked
Yeah.
that was near this
Yeah.
hub,
Yeah.
that will
Change
eventually
the
be a trigger. Change your
Change the
path. So when
Yeah.
you change your path,
Yeah.
then you're already changing your mindset
Exactly.
that this is a place that I used to mess up, so
Yeah.
let me change. And
Yeah.
it's a conscious decision.
It's a conscious.
So I don't know, maybe that's where you
Yeah.
also come in and tell us
Yeah,
how you
and,
did
uh,
it.
I still want
Uh-huh.
Ben to help us come up with this, tell our viewers,
Yeah.
people that are living with people that have this substance
Yeah.
disorder,
Yeah.
what advice would you give them? Like,
Yeah.
how are they supposed to treat these people?
Yeah.
What would you, having been in that situation, how did you expect people to treat you so that you don't go back to those old habits that
Yeah, before I say that, I want to mention an incident that happened last week. I went to the village with these friends. They had come all the way from Nairobi to visit me. So we went to this function at the village. I was the MC. And then I'm seated with my friends. Then I stood up to go wash my hands because they were serving some snacks. So when I left, there was this lady in the next, seated on the next table. You know what she said? Hey, Bena alikuwaga mulevi, wazimu kabisa. She was saying it loud so that these guys can know that the kind of person I was.
Wow.
You see what I mean?
Yeah.
So of course when I came back they told me and I laughed it off. Now I don't mind. But if it was before, that could have affected me, because why should you do that?
True.
You're taking me back there, and of course my friends know. Now if they didn't know, that would have messed me up.
Yeah,
You see?
that's
But
true.
they knew because I accepted. I talk about it. So number one is that people out there, condemnation doesn't work. Because every time I was condemned, when you tough, you're dirty, you're looking like this, I already know. I'm lost it. So when you're telling me I'm dirty, I know. This is my body. Yeah, the clothes are dirty.
You
it's
remind me
Yeah.
of what Jane Austen yesterday told us in a sermon, that condemning somebody, in fact, it makes them get that heartache. It makes them even want to annoy you more.
Exactly.
But the moment you use praises, you look at the strengths of this person, and you use those strengths to make them better, then they become a better person.
Yes.
But the moment you thrive on looking at the weaknesses, then you're messing it up. You're losing it.
And that's what he's saying.
You're building rebellion. So the next day I would just tear the trousers and walk past my aunt because you are telling me all these things. And then also there is affirmation, as you said. Let's focus on the positive. These people are sick. They are already sick. They made a choice, but they never chose the consequences. Here are the consequences.
I love that.
You see, no one of us can choose the consequences. These guys now are in a net. They're like in a cage. So when look for something positive about this person. Everyone, you see, you cannot just be a bad person.
No.
Again, I've been taken to police cells so many times by my uncles. But then how do you jail sickness? I am sick. So putting these young people or the old men into police cells doesn't heal the disease. So it is still there. So, and then what I want to remind, to say here, and which is I found experientially is very important, is that stop to become sober, to recover. It's all a change of lifestyle. As she said, there is something we call PPT, people, places, and things. You got to avoid those people. If you realize these people are the triggers, you just keep off those.
What if there are people that you work with and that is where you're getting your daily bread? You can't quit job because how do you pay your bills? How
Yeah.
do you avoid those people? What if it is your family?
life,
Yeah.
I'll tell you one thing.
Yeah.
If it's your life at stake,
Mm.
you will make that change.
Yeah.
If you need to change your job,
Mm.
you will change your
Yeah.
job.
Mhm.
If you need to find out what it is in your family
Mm.
that is triggering you to do this, and like I said, I can imagine this is a very huge topic, but
Yeah.
a lot of the drinking has the underlying issue.
Yeah.
So if it's rejection from the family, then you need to figure out who is rejecting me.
Mhm.
Because I can tell you, not everybody who is family is worth being called a family.
Yeah.
You get, so you have
Yeah.
friends who are better than family.
Yeah.
You know. So again, is to ask yourself, who is this in this family, like you said, and you feel you cannot handle, you cannot live without them.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, or do we say fortunately, you
Yeah.
can't live with without particular people in your life.
You can't.
Because if this is a family that you're
Yeah.
saying I can't live without,
Yeah.
and then the same people who are triggering
Yeah.
you to
Yeah.
basically
Yeah.
end up in messing up your life, is it really worth it?
No.
It's not worth it.
Yeah.
To add to my colleagues, what she said, I had to change the environment. I had like completely move. Because already there's the way they see me. You know, there's the way they talk about me.
Yeah.
There's what the village is talking. It was Ben Amlevi, you know, Ben the drunkard. That was my name. Everywhere I went, have you seen Ben? Which Ben? The drunkard. You know, so I had to change the environment. I had to move. When the second time when I went to rehab, I decided to stay in Nairobi and start helping people struggling with addiction. So I took out the message. So another thing about the families on what we were discussing is it's okay to look for all the pastors around and everyone around. But I think it's very important to look for experts.
Amen. Sorry.
And you know that is what I was about.
Because I remember being taken to this prophet. And I reach a point to think I'm a package of demons. Because every time there's a demon being casted, there's a demon, some even had names. You know, and everywhere I walk it's demon. So I felt that I am this nicely packed packet of demons. And then it moved on to witchcraft. So I witched a demon packaged soul. So I was hopeless. You know, and then you start that self-stigmatization. I'm hopeless. You isolate yourself. You're angry. You are irritable. So it's very important to look for an expert, someone who knows what is happening.
Exactly.
Someone who will be able to create a rapport and understand the underlying issues. Because I remember there was a time this guy is praying for me, and the way he's punching me, you know, I felt I have to manifest. So I had to manifest for him to leave me alone. Because it's blowing out of proportion because I'm hurting.
Yeah.
I know I'm doing this because I'm in pain.
Yeah.
You know, I have this marriage that has lasted 3 months. It's broken. I have this mother who deserted me at 3 months. So all those things are piled in me. And then you're casting out a demon. Which demon is this? You know?
I think as the
But they are good pastors. I'm not saying-
Exactly.
yeah.
That's what I was saying. I think it's we've had this religious fraternity that believes that everything that is not according to what they think they are demons.
Exactly.
You know, and I believe sometimes we give the devil unnecessary credit. Really, it's unnecessary credit. If you're a person who has chosen to lead people in a congregation or in a religious fraternity, I think it's important to get professional help. Professional help and professional studies.
Yeah.
Become an expert in a particular field so that you do not go around basically bringing out some level of spirituality or some godly nature of which, to be very honest, you're very starved of. So it's important, and I like what he said. I'm sorry about being hit many times, but I guess that's what happens for the sake of the,
And coach, it's also important to mention this. Okay, there are very wonderful pastors out there. And deliverance is okay. There's a ministry of deliverance. But I think before we do the deliverance, sit down with this person.
Try to
That's what you are
understand where
trying
they
to
are
say.
coming from.
We are not fixing the church. We are trying to say, sit with this person, understand what is ailing him. Is it rejection? Then deal with rejection. Sit the family together, as my colleague said.
But you know, in most cases, this our pastors, they are rich in spiritual area.
Yeah.
I don't think they have this training in
Theory.
trying to handle a situation from the roots, like the way the two of you are, trained in. I'm sure if the same case went to Mula, she would handle it differently. And the more reason I've seen when I go to seminars, pastors and our leaders in church, they are being advised to ensure that they go for some of these trainings. Because if they incorporate the training and whatever the spiritual message they are giving to us, it comes out so rich. So I think we need to tell them that they need not to be ignorant of getting that training to add into what they have, so that even as they handle us, they are handling us from a point of information, from a point of not casting out demons, where we are not giving credit to the devil, like you're saying. So I think I'll meet you another time, because we have run out of time. It has been so good having the two of you. The discussion has been awesome. I've really enjoyed. I'm looking forward to a part B of this discussion, because I think we've not exhausted what we needed to. And to our viewers, I hope you've had a nice time. Ensure that you subscribe if you haven't done that. And ensure that bell is on, so that you can get the notifications when we have a new episode. And until the next time, bye-bye. Bye.
Searching for a longer day. People feeling like the light has just come. We must never stop the way.